All right. I'm going to start. John's not here yet because he's kissing his wife goodbye and locking up his studio. And he'll be with us very, very soon. I asked John to join me today because he is in a similar position as I am with my photography studio. He's in a smaller town, and but you know he's quite busy and quite active, and he's got a great attitude, and he's been a member of No BS Photo Success for at least 10, possibly 12 years. But anyways, this is being recorded and it's going to be put in a form. I find a lot of people don't show up during the day when I record these or when I have these mastermind meetings because they're busy doing other stuff. And a lot of people watch the replay. You can download it, put it on your iPad, your phone, or whatever device you wish. I listen to a lot of webinars, a lot of podcasts. I try not to, well, I don't watch any TV, period. So I'm always, university on wheels, on the road, driving when I'm working. Last weekend, I offered to vacuum and mop every floor in our house and did two loads of laundry all the while with my headphones listening to typically, I don't know, all kinds of interviews. A lot of it I enjoy. But anyway, so yeah, it's Rob Pravaschi here. And before John shows up, let me show you guys what we're going to talk about. Oh, hold on. There we go. There we go. Just go over a quick itinerary. So you can see we're going to talk about getting our studios back in business. I'm going to talk quickly about working with daytimers and creating structure in your life. I think that's important. Where are the opportunities during times like a pandemic? Having the right mindset and being able to identify opportunities is very, very valuable. I want to talk about that too. Talk about a little bit about copyright strategies. John's going to talk about some of his kindergarten grad shoots. He doesn't know. I didn't even know if he knows it. I put this down, so he'll talk about it regardless. Possibly he'll talk about something else. The first thing I want to mention is that I'm going to talk briefly about structure. I'm pretty sure, I'm 62 years old in 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure if I can go back in my day when I was a child, I'd be diagnosed with ADHD. I'm almost positive about that. Or maybe some form of autism or something. I don't know. I got problems. I recognize that. But I'm never the kind of guy who likes to identify or lean onto anything that is to do with me, because I think we're all messed up in many, many ways. And self-improvement has been a big theme with me in my life. And when I talk about self-improvement, I talk about it in the sense that being a victim or taking a position of blaming or complaining, for some reason, I've never been that way. I've just recognized it very early in life. And, but regardless, so whatever my shortcomings are, whatever my personality defects are, the idea is that I constantly want to be improving. I really believe in that concept, and I really believe in self-improvement. You improve the business owner, you improve the business. I think this is really, really important. The things that get in a lot of our ways is ego, pride, delusions. It's easy to get delusional about where we want to go in business. So it's important that you try and stay grounded, that you use what Napoleon Hill called accurate thinking. So be very accurate in your thinking, be very realistic. Know your place. I just heard that the other day, know your place. And I thought that was really good. It sounds derogatory. It sounds like somebody talking down to a child or somebody who they think that they're superior to, but it's not. It's a realistic, accurate thinking strategy. Know your place. So in other words, if I'm looking at my life at any point and I say, well, I want to be a deep sea scuba diver. Well, it's probably not going to happen at this point in my life. Not as a career anyways. Or an astronaut, probably not going to happen. Or a rock star, probably not going to happen. Or let's say I wanted to I don't know, if something more closer to home to do it photography, and it was unrealistic. And it's important to be realistic and to know where you are. Uh, and I'm getting to a point with all this, but I just want to mention too that Dan Kennedy's got a book out called How to Make a Million with Your Ideas. And it's probably one of the best business books I've ever read. And in it, he also talks about how people get delusional about their business ideas. I highly recommend that book. So that's in part what I'm talking about when I talk about knowing your place. I think John's with us. John, I've already started. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, look, I'm really impressed at your setup. Are you running through a Canon DSLR?
Yeah, it's a Canon 6D.
Now, how the hell
And
do you do
the
that?
thing is, I'm not actually running, like recording the video on it. So it's not, as far as I know, going to like overheat or anything, because I'm not actually recording
You're
anything on
streaming
it.
from your DSLR. I didn't know you could do that.
Canon came out with this new beta software. I don't know if you saw it listed there when I was
Nope.
coming on there. It was a beta utility software. And so they actually came out with this, and you just plug in which camera you have. It gives you the drivers, and it seems to work. So
It's very, very good. And it makes your handsome face look even handsomer.
I don't know. Maybe I like it better. It's like that old cartoons, like what was it, Family Guy, where everything was in normal. When they went to HD, the person didn't look that good anymore.
I noticed some of those HD TVs look surreal. They look like old school soap operas. So yeah, I was just talking about some success strategies, and specifically to do with accurate thinking and knowing your place. Something I heard the other day was know your place, and it sounds derogatory, but it's not. It means really having a realistic view on what your capabilities are, and not to be delusional. And I mentioned Dan Kennedy's book, How to Make a Million with Your Ideas, and it's a really, really good book. By the way, Tim Ferriss, Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week. At the end of his book, he referenced 3 authors, 2 of which I had the books with me. One was Dan Kennedy, the one I just described. I was like, whoa, Tim Ferriss. You know who Tim Ferriss is, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, you've talked about him many times, but I don't think I've ever seen or read any of his stuff.
He's got the #1 podcast, and he's huge. But anyways, neither here nor there. It doesn't matter that you don't know him. I noticed that there's a lot of people that not have heard of him, but the 4-Hour Work Week was a big time bestseller, and a bunch of other books he wrote. But,
and then I watched that thing you sent me last night. I got to watch it this morning. And that was
good.
amazing.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Before I continue, John, can I want to do something. I'm going to nitpick on you for a sec. Mostly because I'm curious. I want to show everybody your setup.
For right now?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah,
I got
go for it.
I got it. Watch this. Boom, boom.
Today's the first test of doing this, by the way.
It's really good. I want to make a suggestion to you. You can do it another time if you want.
Yeah.
You can see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. What kind of a mic is that? Is that a Rode?
It's a Neewer, actually.
Okay, cool.
Neewer, and it's one that actually just goes through the USB port of my laptop. So I don't need an external box to amplify it or anything.
Same here. It's USB.
Yeah.
This is called flat lighting, right?
Yeah, it's just flat lighting right now. I do have another LED light that normally I would have these on the background, and I'd just have the one LED like 45 degrees, something, give that more shape. And
I want you to try something.
Okay.
The one on your right, turn it off.
This right?
Yep.
All right.
That right.
Everything's backwards when you're on video.
I'm curious. There. Now lean in a bit. There. Now look at me.
Yeah.
No, that's lighting. And what's going on is your window is adding a very subtle kicker light.
That right there, yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. Isn't that 10 times better?
Exactly. Well, normally what I would do is I'd have both of these behind me, shining me in the background, but also giving a bit of a kicker on both sides, because I kind of like that 2 kicker light.
You don't need a kicker because you got the window
from the front, but I didn't know if I'd have time or the patience because I have a wall right here.
This looks good.
But this is good. Then
take your left light and slide it just about 10 degrees closer to you.
See, look, if I go like this, it's short lighting right there. Look at that.
Well, it's almost split lighting. If you bring that light over just a hair, I'm just having fun here. I'm testing.
I'm just trying to get out of the camera. Typical photography traits. Now it's like a split light.
Yeah, you brought it the wrong way. Bring it more in front of you.
I'm just trying to do it so it's not coming in camera view.
Ah, okay, gotcha. All right.
But I can actually go higher and it won't be in camera view either. So
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah, no, that is nicer.
Do whatever you want. I'm just having fun. I like that lighting. Can you look at the camera? Are you looking? Yeah, it doesn't look. You were looking at the light earlier, or it looked like you were looking off screen?
Right now I'm looking at the camera, but
Okay,
when
good.
we were on split view, before you put your screen up, you were on one side of my camera, I'm on the other. So when I'm looking at you, I'm basically looking at the camera. So it's like I'm having a conversation with you.
All right.
Because if you look at that, you can't see the other side. If you look at one of the other pictures, you can see the big screen TV that's actually got my laptop hooked up to it.
Geez,
right
you got quite the setup going.
So there's the camera, and then I just expanded my screen there so that you're full screen on that TV now. So this way I can just look at it and it's easy. And I just did the flat lighting just for the video. That was all.
Oh.
But if you like this better, we'll leave it like this.
It's up to you. I'm just having fun. I was just like,
see, these lights here are just coil bulbs that are like 5,600 Kelvin. There's no, I can't change the intensity of it. That's the problem.
They're just cheap lights, and that's what I'm using. Same thing.
I did pay for another one. It's the square LED ones, like it's almost 10 by 10 basically.
Right.
And I can turn that from 3,200 Kelvin to 8,000 Kelvin, and I could do 100% all the way down to 0% depending on what I want.
Yeah, I've seen those lights. Like they're expensive. They're pricey.
Yeah, but I got that one only for like about $150 or so on Amazon.
Oh, they're dropping in price then, because they used to be $400 or $500.
No, it's really nice.
All right. Well, that's complicated when you're going to get into adjustable Kelvin, but I'm not even going to go there right now. We should talk about that at another meeting. We'll talk about lighting.
Well, the one reason I like this too is because with my camera now, I can set my lights, set the Kelvin, set my aperture, put my shutter speed to about 30 for 30 frames per second, and then put my white balance, and it stays. I find when you use those webcams attached to your laptop, when you move around like this, especially if you have a white backdrop, your exposure goes in and out, in and out, in and out, and you go brighter, darker, brighter, darker. Here I could just set it and it stays.
Looks good, John. It's quite the setup you got there. I like that stand you got your big screen TV on. Is that a 44-inch?
No, that's a 55.
On wheels.
And it's on wheels. We got that off of Amazon, I think, when we were making the studio 2 years ago. We got the...
nice. How much was that?
My wife found that on there. And it's nice because it's on wheels. Because in the studio part, when I teach Photography 101 to people locally here, I set up about 3 6-foot tables with about 3 to 4 chairs per table. I wheel this out there on there, and I do all my slide presentation right through my TV.
I think you showed us that when we did that webinar.
It's quite possible, yeah.
Last fall, I believe I had you on. So
something like that, yeah.
All right, let's talk about. I just want to talk about marketing and success strategies and stuff like that. So the point that I was getting at, I started without you because you were not here. I thought I'm just going to start talking. So I was talking about how I was leading up to the main point, which was how I really, when I was very, very young in my early 20s, I came to value the use of a day timer. I just feel a day timer is one of the most important tools in business, especially in photography, because if your head is cluttered with everything that you got to do, I don't want to have to think about it. So I was thinking about a few weeks ago as I was going through my life. I tend to do that a lot these days. I find as you get older, you think back more in time and you reminisce more. And, if you live a good life, you have less regrets. If you don't live to the highest potential that you can possibly be and take actions that challenge your courage,
that's my
if you don't,
timer right there, Google Calendar.
That's what I use, Google Calendar now.
Yeah, that's my day timer.
Yeah, I absolutely love the use of a day timer. I used to use I was a school photographer, and the manager of the school photography company, which was a national company, they would hand these out to the schools, and I got one from my boss. I started using it right away. And then I segued to, is it McBee? Is that accounting, or I forget. There's a day timer company. No, McBee is accounting.
Oh, I know what you're talking about too. Sorry, I was just putting a fill light in there just a little bit. Trying to remember I know who you're talking about because we had one here. I used to get those physical ones all the time.
Nice leather. I spent a lot of money on it. I bought a nice leather one.
Yeah, I used to get those all the time. Now with the Google Calendar, what's great is because my wife works in the studio with me.
Right.
And so we can combine, she's got the same Google Calendar as I do. So I can put
Right.
anything in there and she can pull it up on her phone too. So she knows
Yeah.
if our daughters have soccer or something, or we have something else family wise, we can look on that. Both of us, we don't have to be around each other. I could be at the studio, she could be at home, and she could check and say, oh, I can't, John's got to shoot on this day, or I got to be in there editing or something.
So it was something that I was thinking about, and I realized what an important tool in my life that's been, and still to this day. And I just wanted to mention that as we get started into this. So let's talk about getting our businesses back online here for a second. I want to get into specific strategies. I'll talk about a few of mine, and you could talk about a few of yours. But I sent you a video that I watched a couple months ago from the Wizard of Ads. I'll post the video in the replay of this. It was quite good because it was 3 marketing guys that were talking about most businesses that pivot and rise. So they usually do so during huge upsets.
Yep.
And we are having an upset right now. And the one example they used was during 9/11.
Yeah, that was that guy from Toronto.
Yeah, he was quite good. And
Yep.
within a week or two, a couple of airlines went out of business because they had no working capital. They couldn't survive. And
in 2 days, he said.
Yeah, and Dan Kennedy talks about this. I bring up Dan all the time because I've literally read everything and gotten all his materials, but he talks a lot about a lot of stuff in a no nonsense way. And he's talked about in the past on when it's coming to wealth and business creation strategies, how when things are bad, when there's disaster, there's always opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds awful. It sounds heartless, but it's a reality.
It is a reality.
He's like, you got to accept that. So I don't want anybody to suffer. I don't want anybody to fail, but it's going to happen regardless. And my point is, I have to be selfish. I have to look at my own business and say, what do I need to do to survive and struggle through so that I can come out the other end bruised and battered, but still breathing, right?
Yep.
For me, that took a lot of patience, like really a lot of patience for me. But I also still was very active on social media. I was doing 3 posts, like as if I was still busy, religiously for the last 3 months, even though there was no business. And I was still planning for when the business does open up. And we've always been pretty lucky in the sense that we didn't have to rely on any government handouts. We had money in the bank. And those airlines that went bankrupt, I mean, they didn't have any money in the bank. They couldn't survive that. So riding close to the edge like that, I'm sure you've done it, John, when you were starting out especially. You took a leap. You got that moment in time when you take a leap, you're going to go full time as a photographer, and you got enough to pull you through maybe 5-6 months, and you're just hoping.
Yeah. I left a full-time job after being there for 9.5 years, basically almost 10 years.
Yeah.
At a bodybuilding magazine. And I finally went to my boss, who actually helped me with my photography, and said, thanks for all your help, but I'm going to go on my own right now. And he wished me the best and still bought pictures from me for the magazine. So imagine
if you did that and then boom, a big pandemic hit. I mean, you'd have been in a pickle. So, and I think the important thing to just sort of close that off is to consider mindset. And I was having this discussion with my wife a couple months ago, because my wife is not one that's naturally inclined to be in business. I love being in business. I think that that's one of the reasons why my photography business has survived to this day. We're still doing good, is I've always considered myself more of a business person versus a photographer. A lot of people would disagree with that idea, but I think I'm a marketer of photographic services, not a photographer. So I've always taken the approach that what do I need to do in all senses, on all aspects, business wise, marketing wise, sales wise, what do I need to do to grow the business and to maintain the momentum? You know what I mean?
I do. This darn microphone doesn't want to stay here.
Sounds good though. And it's well lit. I love that lighting.
There you go. I just moved that one light over to the front more and back further, so it's not so intense, and it's just a little bit more of a fill light.
You got what's called modified loop lighting, and just a very subtle shine coming off the top of your head. And
I planned that.
Yeah, it looks good, and it's the lighting is very subtle. It's not it's not flat. It carves out your face a little more.
See, going by what you were saying there too, if you want to take some people even from No BS Photo Success that have basically you can sort of guide from, a couple ones that come to mind that's been around for through a lot of these things like 9/11, things like that with physical studios probably, or people like Maggie herself.
Yeah.
Even Maria, not only did she go through all that stuff where she was in Pittsburgh at the time, but then she just picked up and moved everything to South Carolina to start all back over again.
Crazy.
And within 6 months after she does that, this happens.
I know, eh? I'd like to talk to her, which I will. We talk all the time about where she's at right now and get her sort of sense of how things are going for her.
Yeah, because I talk to her every now and then. I don't get a big chance to, but sometimes Maria and I will get a chance to talk in that. And this darn thing, this thing always works. It's just because it's on a separate table. But we can keep talking as I'm doing this. If this doesn't bother you, I'll fix it.
No, it doesn't bother me.
All right. But now, just things like that. And even with me, like you said, like we were in the process of getting ready to do a little bit more renovations in here, actually. We're still not completely finished. And then all of a sudden this hit. And the problem with it wasn't that it hit. I mean, it would have given us more time to do our renovations, which would have been nice. But what the rough part is that it ended up causing us to put it on hold because a lot of the accounts that we normally would be shooting right now to bring the funding in to do those renovations fell through, of course. Fell through. Like we still have them for next year, but for this year, like 3 dance schools, the minor soccer that we usually do in the summer, all that money we were kind of budgeted in that, okay, we can do these renovations this year, and that might be put on hold a little bit now. So it happens. You just got to whizzle your way through it somehow.
Yeah. So you had a change of plans, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that one guy was saying on that video last night where there's all this like setback and tragedy. There's always going to be, if you look at the positive side, there might be some benefits that come from it also. So
yeah, well, that's the thing. And you got to be in a position, and this is what I'm getting at. You got to be in a position, you got to have the right mindset. So to be in a position, you have to have the tools, the skills, and some resources.
Yeah.
If you don't have resources, if you're like going broke and you have crushing debts and or problems of any kind, and this happens and you're not able to survive it,
yeah,
you're doomed.
No.
But if you can survive it and have the right mindset, stay focused, have goals, and really look at what you can do, because when things come back, which they are right now, as the opportunities will present themselves and you can lunge at them.
That's true.
Grab them. Low-hanging
Canada,
fruit.
we were kind of lucky though, because I don't know about the States, but we had that CERB funding from the if you qualified for it and things like that.
Yeah, they had something similar.
Here.
They had something similar.
That helped me because my landlord was really good with my rent. So
he helped you out, right?
He didn't help me out, but he didn't have to, because when I moved in here, he gave me such a low rent.
Right.
To start with, and he's never raised it. And now with this, I had a good discussion with him and said, I hope you're not thinking of raising it anytime soon, because there's no way I'd be able to afford it. He's like, no, don't worry about it. We're fine where we are now. So I'm paying about 1/3 of what they normally would get for this place. And so, I mean, I was good that way. We had money put aside. My wife even had an inheritance that came in, so that helped us out too. So
bonus.
There were different ways that we were able to push our way through it until we can get in here. And now, and then it's just a matter of now we have to invent the ways of how to bring the customers back now. That's the problem.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So some are coming back for you now, right?
Yeah. Well, I've done both kindergarten and junior high school grads and some high school grads.
So how did you get those, and how did you let them know that you were there? Did they just call, or have you been in touch with these people?
I've been in touch with some of them. Like with the kindergartens, we have 3 different schools here in Petawawa that we do every year. We've been doing it for about 10 years now. There's one right across from my house that my daughter goes to, and there's 2 around the corner. And so we've been doing kindergarten grads for those schools for about 10 years now, where we actually will go in around April, and we actually set up in the gymnasium or something, similar to like what Danny does with his sports.
Right,
where you
down
set up
in California.
a little setting there. So we set up a little setting, and
nice.
then we will I don't know if you saw the one when I was doing that video for you and Tina the other day. I had that little setup in the one corner there. That was for all my graduations. And
Nice.
so we have that set up in the studio now. And we had one of the schools that we do, it was a Catholic school, and one of the parents, they said, well, if I organize it with the rest of the parents, we have a group on Facebook. I can throw it in there, say he's willing to do it. Let's put a schedule together. So we did over a 2-day schedule, 15 minutes apart. And it was all done safely. They all waited outside until the next one was leaving, and then the next one would come in. They all had masks. I would let them know that I have my mask too. If you want me to wear it, I'll wear it. And
so you asked.
They didn't care. So
you asked.
There's another advertising right there. It's just on your mask. I have that. James actually asked me where I got them done because he wanted it done for him too.
Yeah.
So, and it works good because it's got your logo right on it. So wherever you go, you got your logo.
I was thinking about getting a mask with those like monster teeth, just to scare the kids.
But no, they did. And then I had one that same school, one of the parents for the grade 7s, because their school only goes up to grade 7, and then their kids go to high school from there. And they didn't get their grade 7 graduation pictures. So they contacted me, and same thing. We did a 2-day schedule, and they came in 15 minutes apart and did about 20 kids there.
That's pretty good.
16.
Like not full bar, what it could have been, should have been, would have been had this not happened, right? But still it's coming back.
Well, you usually think the one school is usually about 4 to 5 classes, and the senior kindergartens in there that are going to grade 1 next year, you're looking about 10 to 15 kids per class. So about 45, 50 kids in one school. Another one has about 9 classes because they have also the French immersion in there. So you're looking about 80 to 90 kids there, and another 60 or so at another school. So that's like almost 200 kids that I didn't get to shoot. I've only shot maybe 20 of them now.
John, are you feeling optimistic about the future? Let's say
I am.
Let's say the short term, say next 4 months.
Next 4 months, I'm hoping so. Like right now, the schedule's starting to go a little less, but it will pick up because I get people calling me all the time, especially for headshots. I'm knowing businesses are going to need headshots again. We've been promoting New World, New You type of thing. Okay. So people have been in quarantine, and the good thing about us is when phase 2 came in, we were allowed to open. Hair salons were allowed to open too. If they weren't allowed to open, we'd definitely be dead because what woman's going to want to get their picture taken with their quarantine hair? They're not going to want to. So they want to get those gray roots out, and they want to get them cut and nice. And
so you do a lot of
hear that with phase 3, the makeup artists are open now too. I heard.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of headshots which tie into that. We don't do a lot of headshots. We do some, but
I do. That's like one of my bread and butters. I mean, I don't know if you could see that, but we have, I know it's blurry because of the camera, but we do a lot of headshots for different places, whether it be on location or in the studio. And it's kind of a bread and butter. It doesn't pay a lot, but it pays enough.
I think it pays. Yeah, it's good bread and butter. I know how much you're charging, and it's respectable. So,
and yet I'm one of the most expensive here. Everybody else is a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
so it's just a matter of proving why they should come to you.
You want to be the most expensive, don't you?
I do. My wife tells me if it wasn't for me being a photographer, she wouldn't be able to afford us. So that's how I know I'm priced right. Because if I can't afford myself, I know I'm priced right.
Well, I like doing fairies, you know, and one of the first things we had done, we had given up. We had 2 fairy days scheduled. They got canned, and we had a dance school schedule that got canned. And everything else we could have done. But the big one's the fairies for us. So we decided in June, was it June? 5 weeks ago-ish, to do, instead of having 1 fairy day in the spring and 1 in the fall, I thought, let's just do a one-off fairy day, sort of a mini fairy day. And we had 5 sessions come in. I was really surprised, and it was kind of good to see. So I said, well, let's do another one. So we got one on July 30th. In Sudbury, where we're located, and that's probably 2 weeks away from now, and something we got 10 confirmed paid bookings for that. So that's really good news.
Very cool.
And then we got London, Ontario, where we started going to do fairy day, and we had a fairy day scheduled in May because it was looking really good for London. Yeah. Without even promoting the date, we had 5 booked back in January, but we got date set in September for Fairy Day, and we also have 10 confirmed and paid for London, and we're hoping to get 30 like we had last year. And then of course John, you've been telling me for years now that I should do a Fairy Day in your area because
nobody in the valley does anything like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I got to be honest with you. It's not something many people do anywhere.
Nope.
Of all the areas, and I want to, if I can talk about some of the reactions I've been getting from overall fairies, but let me mention this. I just was talking to my wife Tina this morning, and we got 2 inquiries for Fairy Day Pembroke already.
Oh, good. Because I've been promoting it since yesterday.
And
I
the
threw it.
ads,
One of the dance schools said she was going to put it in their email blog. I don't know if she has
nice,
yet or not.
nice. That'll
And
be good. That'll be
I
good.
sent it to my daughter's school across the road and to one of the people. They have it's called Herman Street Public School, and they have a Herman Street Hive Facebook page.
Nice.
So I gave it to her and said, can you throw that on the Hive? I don't know if she has yet. I have to check and see. And then I've been emailing people I know that have kids. So
We basically just started doing all these promotions, not even
you got
like
2 already.
24 hours ago, which you know, I ran the Facebook ads yesterday afternoon. So
Yeah.
to get
I just started sharing it.
to get inquiries is a good sign to me. That's
Exactly.
that's
That's the kindergartens that we do there.
now, John, that is too freaking cute. Where do you get those grad gowns?
Gaspard.ca.
In Toronto.
I guess that's where it is. I just go on there and I pick the ones. We have a pink one. We have a powder blue, like a little sky blue. We have white. And then the 3 schools, I got their school colors too. So each school I go to, they have 4 choices. So they have the white, the blue, the pink. The one school is burgundy. Right. And then the other one has the same 3 choices with the gold and the same 3 choices with a green, depending on what their school colors are. And parents eat those up.
I'm on their website now. And
if you go to Gaspard, they have the different colored ones. And
there's their website. So if you're Canadian, maybe they go to different countries. I don't know.
I don't know, but that's where I get them from.
Can I ask you what you paid for that little mini?
The gown and cap?
Yeah, for the mini one, you know.
I wish I could tell you because we got these a couple years ago.
You don't remember?
The original ones we got like 10 years ago, and they were starting to get worn out. So we actually bought 2 new ones of each color because we like to have 2 of each color. That way, when we're at the school and we have a kid getting their picture taken, if the next kid in line is supposed to use the same color, we can put that gown on them too. So they're ready to go. My wife takes care of all that part.
They have a whole section for kindergarten right here.
Yeah, right there.
Oh man, why have
pricing right on there for you somewhere?
Why haven't I done these, or at least talked to my wife about doing these?
I don't know. And I don't do green screen. I hate green screen. The only time I have a green screen, I do have a pop-up 5x7 green screen, but I only use it for like video if I want to change my backgrounds on video while I'm like right now. But I just, that gray backdrop I showed you in mine, in my picture there, it's just a gray and white marble. I think it's an old Westcott type backdrop.
Well, look at this, John. You got all the options in the world, and this Kinder package is $21.95.
So it's very reasonable priced.
Huh. All right.
And then you get stuff like that.
All right.
Can you see that little light blue there, the powder blue? I got that, and I've got a white one, and then we have the school colors, whatever they are. So it works really well. We're trying to get some of the other schools. There's about 8 schools here, but some don't do the graduations anymore. I also have a black cap and gown. I just bought a new one actually because I wanted a more updated one and better one. Classic. And then some of the local high schools, I got their V-Stoles colors so that we can take their graduation pictures too.
Did you make those?
Or I'm trying to get, but I can't find.
Did you order those sashes from Casper as well?
I got them from Gaspard, yeah. So
Gaspard?
2 of them I did. Like I got my daughter's school, which is a green and white. There's another one that was a gold, blue, and gold, and one of the students gave me hers after they graduated this year. She's like, I don't need it. I just want my hat. So she let me have it basically.
All right.
And then
why didn't I know about this? I'm going to talk to my wife. Here's what I want to say about this.
And I do a local college here too. So I have theirs too.
Grad gowns, grad sessions, I kind of find attractive, but the idea of photographing kindergarten grads, way more attractive because of the fact that it has that cuteness factor. And
you could do it. You have to have that mindset.
That's right. We're back to mindset, man.
Well, it is because you have to have patience. You have to love kids. Because
I do. I do a lot of fairies, right? And that's 3 to 7-year-olds. And I know how we're not talking about the kids so much, but yeah, I agree with you. And that's very, very big. If you don't like kids, you're going to struggle with a lot of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But what I want to mention too is the fact that it's the market. The parents and grandparents go gaga Now, do you do a lot of high schools and college or university grads?
I do. On the one college here, we have the waterfront campus here in Pembroke of Algonquin College,
You do a
and
lot of them?
I don't do a lot, but I do the registered nursing program.
Right.
And then one year I had the registered nurse, the practical nurse, and the PSWs. The
Nice.
next year I just had the nursing program.
All right.
This year I did the nursing one, but I've had a couple other people who graduated but didn't get their photos done, or they didn't. But because the college, I do their stuff for them,
Mm-hmm.
they gave me 2 of their stoles that I can keep here at my studio. So I have
Nice.
them here. They can come to my studio and do it.
Well, that's
and then
good.
I also, for the college, set up for their convocation at the end of the year.
Right.
So when they get their diploma, they have me, it's at the hockey rink here, and they have me in the dressing room. So I do the same setup, and I get 5 seconds with each person. So they basically,
is everybody get photographed, or is it on spec?
everybody. No, everybody. They go up, get their diploma, they bring them down, they take them underneath the stands and around to the dressing room lineman. They line them up in front of the door.
Boom,
They
boom,
walk
boom.
in. I say, stand on that square there. Look at me. Turn your head this way. Click, click. All right, gotcha. Next one. Because they give me 45 minutes to shoot over 240 grads.
Now, what about that compared to a regular studio portrait session? You know, the typical.
For the grads like this, you're looking about 15 minutes per grad to or so.
So on the scenario you just described, do you do those as well?
Yes.
All right.
So, when I do these school portraits, like stuff like this, we don't charge to go and do it. We don't charge a sitting fee. Even when they come to my studio, it's the one I don't. School and sports, I don't charge sitting fees because it's all bulk anyways.
Yeah.
So I just go and I shoot it, and then what we do is we send home one of these order forms with them, and it just has all of our packages, a la carte, menu, extras, if they want the files, things like that. And it's all cheaper than our normal portrait if you came in here for a portrait, family portrait, because the rose system through the lab is cheaper, so we give them the cheaper rates too.
So it's like school pictures.
Basically, just exact. I run it the same way.
It's like volume. It's good pay. You know, I was a school photographer in my early 20s for many, many years, and I knew how much my boss was making, and I was always impressed at the numbers.
Yep.
Although the company, Canadian School Studios, they were across Canada. They were huge. They went bankrupt in the 90s. I don't know what happened. They screwed up somewhere.
Well, up until now, we've always, when we shot them at the school, we go do the kindergartens that whole day. We come home, my wife will go online, and through Lightroom, she makes a proof page. And then we would print them out. Just take them to Staples, and they use the brighter white paper, but just regular paper, and have the proofs put on there.
Okay.
That way they can't copy and paste them or make prints from them or anything. They were just proofs, and then they get this order form. It was actually an envelope. We'd have a 9x12 envelope, and this order form is actually printed right on the envelope.
That's cool.
Have envelopes with it printed.
That's old school.
Just put their checks or whatever inside, or fill out the credit card information on the front, seal it, take it back to the school. And then at a certain date, we would go back and get them all from the school, process them. And
well, I'm going to be possibly picking your brains a little bit more about this because,
and we're lucky here. I know in the States with sports and schools, I hear a lot of people saying photography wise, they have to do kickbacks all the time to the school. Like they have to pay a certain percent. I've never had to do that.
No,
they're just happy to have me there.
They appreciate you.
Exactly. So they don't ask me for anything.
Yeah, no, I've heard that too. So, you know, you talked to Danny Rabelais quite a bit about what he's doing in this area. And does he talk about kickbacks and stuff, or?
He hasn't. Like, I haven't talked to him personally in a while, but I watch his videos like on Facebook. He does these little behind the scenes stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And he used to come on to my Butler's Babble every now and then and chat with me there with everybody, but never got into the particulars and stuff.
Yeah, you like to talk a lot. Butler's Babble.
Somebody else came out with the title. I said, okay, I'll run with it.
I know it's good. It's good. It's got a ring to it. But no, you do like to talk a lot, so it makes sense that you would call it that. And I don't mean that in a put-downy kind of way. It's just, it is who you are. And
I haven't done it in like 3 weeks. And it's funny, I was talking to Paula, Warren's wife, Paula, the other day, and they used to do their Tales from the Tub, the same thing. And so I watched their show, and they would watch mine in the afternoon when they could. And then we both, it's like, you guys miss me yet? And he's like, yeah, we haven't had a chance to do our shows, any of us. They've been busy with senior grads and babies, and I've been busy with grad cap and gown stuff. So
yeah, well, that's a good thing, right?
Exactly.
Being
when the
busy
phone stops ringing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna my wife and I are heading your way in September. We did this co-joint Fairy Day. I just want to mention that so we can get that in this discussion.
Yep.
We finally, you mentioned it again last time I saw you, and last time we talked, and I said, okay, well, let's just do it. And it's looking good. We hope. I mean, it's anybody who knows me is familiar with my fairy marketing system and the way I run that. I've been doing them over 15 years, both locally in Sault Ste. Marie, now in London, Ontario, and now in Pembroke, Petawawa, Ottawa Valley area. And the idea is we came up with an agreement. We pay you a set fee plus a commission. We're going to use your studio for 2 days. One day we're going to shoot.
I told my wife it's the easiest money we can make. Basically, you take over my studio for 3 days and I get paid to let you do it.
And we'll have a barbecue and some food too.
Exactly.
So. Oh, by the way, I did get a text yesterday, just to let you know, this got nothing to do with nothing, but in Cobden, I have a cousin. She said, where are you staying? Stay at our place.
It's only about 20 minutes, about a half an hour away from here.
She offered to host us. So I'm like, oh, geez, that's awfully nice. So
yeah, they're only about a half an hour down the highway, down the Highway 17 there.
You know Mike Provencher from Texas? He's a big time member of No BS Photo Success.
I know the name. I don't know him personally, but I know the name because I used to always, when I first joined like 13 years ago, I always wondered if that was your brother or something.
My cousin down in, his dad is my dad's youngest brother, and they moved to down to Tennessee back in the early 80s.
Cobden's basically the next one after Pembroke.
And his oldest sister is the only one who didn't move, and she moved to Cobden.
There you go. So it goes Pembroke, Cobden, Renfrew, Arnprior, and then you're in Ottawa.
So it's all pretty much close. So yeah, but that's what's going on, and that's going on with our business insofar as fairies are concerned. We're taking bookings and orders, and people are paying. We've done a few families in the last few weeks. We did one a few days ago, just proofed it this morning. Mom came in with dad and their 2 boys, her 24 and her 22-year-old boy. The 24-year-old is a lawyer. He's a full-fledged lawyer with a full-fledged his own law firm now, and he's only 24. Yeah. This lady, I've known her since the late 80s, and I was just like, I haven't really met the boys yet because I haven't really been in touch with her, but I was very impressed at how they turned out. I was like, my God, you're 24. He looked about 28, 29. but they came in for a family photo and headshots, and they ordered a crap load. And I'm like, all right, this is looking good. This gives me hope. Because I got to admit, I really found it hard being in lockdown for 3 months. And
me too. I'm an extrovert, so.
Yeah. And I like business and not being able to do, I like the freedom of being in business. So tying my hands behind my back and saying you can't do business was really hard for me to reconcile.
One thing I've done to try and help, and I can show you actually in a second, I can take over the screen and show it in big if you want, are these little business cards I had made. These aren't like just normal business cards. And you can see it's written on the back too, but I can show you what they are if you want. I don't know if I have permission to take over.
I believe you can.
Let's see. I think I do. All right.
Hit share
screen.
This
is the front of it here.
It's not showing yet. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Oh, there you are.
So that's, I made these little $50 gift cards just through Vistaprint.
All right.
And they're just business card. I just did it as a standard business card. That's based off my actual business card. I just revamped it. And they're $50 gift cards. And a couple of things I know, if you notice right there under the word gift card, it says no monetary value and not for resale.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I'll tell you why in a second I did that.
Tell us.
And then I wonder, can I see the back of it? And there's the back there. So it gives all the special conditions. And the reason I make sure I put those on there is I actually had a card once. It was a $100 gift certificate I gave to the Welcome Wagon. They gave it to one of their people. And they called me, asked me, okay, how much is a family portrait and blah, blah, blah. Okay, thanks very much. I'll get back to you. By that night, my daughter sent me a screen print. The lady went on to one of those Facebook yard sale pages and was trying to sell the gift card that they got for free.
Oh.
And so now it says it's not for resale and it's not redeemable for cash. So that if they come and it's a $50 gift card and they only spend $40, they don't get $10 change back. They just have a $10 credit with me still. There's no cash value. And if they lose it, I'm not responsible for that. What I do with these is I give them to a lot of businesses too. Yeah. So I give them to real estate agents and I tell them, when you have a new person move into town and you close a deal and they buy a house in this
Right.
area, give them one of those they're a new client now because they just came to the Valley. Why not have me be the first photographer they hear about?
All right.
I
You
give it to a mortgage
mentioned
advisor too.
Welcome Wagon. Are they still going?
Not anymore. I signed on last year, and then in May, I think it was, my rep said, if you owe them any money, don't give them anything because they've closed down. There is no more.
All right. That's sad. They were
So
very, very big back in the day.
no, exactly. And then let's see here. And then this was the one that somebody tried to sell. I don't know if it will show up on there or not. That was one that they tried to sell from me.
No monetary value. Not for resale.
I didn't have that on originally.
All
and
right.
so I changed it after that because they took that and they put it on things saying $100 gift card towards so-and-so. And they were selling it for like $100 or something like that. And I'm like, you can't sell that. You got it for free. To me, ethically and morally, it was wrong, but I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I started putting those, but these are great because I give them to a mortgage agent that's in my BNI group.
I never
So when
thought
she
of
closes
doing
the
that.
deal, she gives it to them.
I never thought of doing that. The mortgage and real estate or anybody.
Yeah, because those
anybody.
are my clients, the headshots and stuff. They're my clients. Plus, their clients are family portrait clients. So they give them to them when they close. It does two things. A, it brings people to my studio, or at least contacting me, whether they want to use it or not. Or and if they don't want to use me, it doesn't say it's not transferable. If you want to give it to somebody else to use, by all means, give it to somebody else who will use it. But it makes say the mortgage agent or the real estate agent makes them look good because they're giving a gift to them. Hey, thanks for using my services. Here's a gift. Use this towards this customer or this business. Here's a free $50 off of this business's stuff. So it gives them a good name too because they're giving a gift to their client.
Yeah.
So
that's an excellent marketing strategy. And
yeah, so I'm just testing it out. We've been giving out my mortgage advisor on BNI. She'll say she has a referral for me, and about 4 of them in the last month she's given out to clients. So we'll see if they come back. And then I give it to other businesses too, like the massage therapy down the road that I do all their headshots. She has them, and if she has some clients that come in and they're good clients that she thinks she wants to give a gift to, she can give it to them too. So
what are you doing if she comes in for a headshot and says, "Can I use that gift certificate for my headshot?"
Well, she herself can't use it. No, but I give her a good deal on their headshots anyways.
Oh, you do, eh? Okay.
Yeah, because it's in bulk with them. Every time she gets a new massage therapist or a new employee, hey, John, I got another one. I got to get them in there. So they get a bulk rate.
Right,
So,
gotcha.
yeah. So,
Taking care of business. Here, let me show you what I did. And I did this one only a couple of weeks ago. And Vista print as well. I don't know if you could see it. I'm going to go sideways because you can see.
All right. Yeah.
See, the logo is embossed.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. On one side, very simple. And on the other side, it says a complimentary family portrait session on us from Rob and Tina Provenche. Very, very simple because I've been telling my wife we should do these. I used to do a lot of freebies back in the days in the 80s and 90s, like a shitload. They're an awesome way to get the phone ringing. But, I had 2 weeks ago, we do a lot of headshots for a local Ford dealership.
Yep.
We have a special backdrop just for them. And every time they they're always sending people in. So, and this guy comes in and he's awesome. He's married. He got 2 kids. I'm like, I want to shoot his family. And I was like, I'm telling Tina, and I talked to the guy. I said, have you ever, I asked him, you married, kids, blah, 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 blah. I always get the conversation going. And then I'm like, he should come in for a family portrait. And they always say, yeah. Tell my wife. But I never hear from them again. So boom, put it in their hands and say, here's some incentive. And
now what I usually do, if I have a thing there that's a complimentary shoot itself, I always put somewhere on there what the value of that shoot is so they know what they're getting. So if it's
John, you got me on that one.
Bucks, I would put in brackets a $200 value or something like that.
I should have done that.
They're getting.
I never did it.
Yeah. But that's what I do sometimes. No, except for the ones with the monetary, because they can use it for anything. They can use it towards their prints, whatever. But whenever I give to charity, if I go to, say, the hospital foundation, they're doing a silent auction, and I give them a gift certificate for a complimentary family portrait and an 8x10 or something, in brackets, I'll put what that value is. So they see, wow, that's how much they're giving me for free, basically. Even though it's not costing me that much, but they don't, that's what it would have cost them if they were to hire me and get that product. So I always put what the value is. And I was also told to do that, even if like say my family, my sister-in-law likes to get her pictures taken with her little boy. So whenever they come over, you shoot it. You don't charge them, of course, it's your sister-in-law, but I would give her a bill anyways at a zero balance, but I would have
Oh
the
yeah.
cost of it and then have it zeroed out as a discount or something so that they see what the value of that you're giving them. And then when people call, hey, that's a beautiful picture. Who shot it? How much would it cost? She can tell them, oh, well, it costs this much to be done.
Yeah.
They can see the value you're giving them, even if it's a family member or something. Anytime you give something away for free, you should at least let them know how much they're saving.
Yeah.
And it goes far. I never thought it would work, but it does.
No, that's a really, really dynamic and powerful strategy, especially when you're dealing with anybody in any situation where family members aside,
Yeah.
like if for some reason people are,
Well, I've never given it to my sister-in-law, but like to other people where I give discounts
yeah,
to, I
you know,
always have it on there.
yeah, or if it's a freebie, put the full value right on an invoice and mark balance owing a zero.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It goes
that,
far.
yeah, that has a psychological effect. And, you know, if you're portfolio building, you could do the same thing if you're
Yep.
starting out and or wanting to create new looks and you're giving away a session, do the same thing. So, although Maria last year when I did one of these with her, she
Mm-hmm.
had she nobody can sell like her. She
Oh,
had
I know.
she had that
I loved her
free
tier system she had.
she has that free session offer, and then she got all these people applying, and she picks and choose, and then she makes like a $5,000 sale. So
I know. Well, I don't know if
consistently,
you've ever heard of him. There's that guy in California, I think it is. He's the $1 million photographer, I think
heard
it's
of him.
called.
Yeah, yeah,
And he charges no session fees at all.
yeah. I heard of
But
him. Yeah,
then to buy, like I have a 20 by 30 hanging here. To buy a 20 by 30 framed from him, you're paying like $2,000 or $3,000 for that one. And so he'll make 10,000. He gets like celebrities and
mm-hmm,
baseball players that'll fly from
mm-hmm.
Florida all the way there, get their picture done. They get one large 30 by 40, and the whole shoot in that one picture costs them $10,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
You'd never get that in the Valley, that's for sure. But it's all
Possibly.
psychological, like you said. It's even with your price list. You can have something listed as 200, or
Yeah.
you can put it at 199, and psychologically they see the 199 and they just think, oh, that's so much cheaper, even though it's only $1 cheaper. But it just sounds cheaper because it's 100 and something as opposed to 200.
It's it's a strategy that's pretty old school insofar as pricing strategies are concerned.
Yeah.
Bring it down just below the number.
But even with all, like you said, with all this COVID stuff, yeah, we're going through rough times, but it will eventually even out.
Mm-hmm.
And our profession, I don't think is going to be hit as bad, only for the fact we already saw it in the last 5 years, 6 years. Brick and mortar stores like myself
Yeah.
and like your studio, they're going by the wayward anyways, and people are just doing it out of their house. So they don't have that overhead that they're losing out on. A
Yeah.
lot of them may have spouses that are working also or whatever. So their photography will always be there and they can just go right back into it. They've already got all their equipment they've invested in. They're
Yeah.
just waiting it out. But people like with the brick and mortar stores, you might find
Yeah.
a lot of them starting to close down again, like we did before, like we used to see before.
A lot of restaurants are going to hurt. Anybody in the service and or tourist industry is going to hurt. There's going to be
Yeah.
a whole lot of pain going on.
We've had a couple closing down downtown Pembroke here, but
Yeah.
and it is what it is. I mean, you just gotta. That's Warren's famous line. It is what it is. You just
Mhm.
gotta push your way through it. So, I have too much motivation to do it. They always say, find your what, why you
Mhm.
do things. Find your
why?
your why. Sorry, not the right. Find your why. And I mean, I got a wife and kids to support, and this is my passion. I don't want to do anything else. If I lose this, I'm going back to factory work or something. I ain't doing that. And I don't
Yeah.
want to work at Tim Hortons, so I got to make this work.
Yeah. Well, you're in a good position too, insofar as known in your community, and not a lot of forces attacking you to possibly bring you down,
No.
like some really bad habits or debt loads and or things that could totally
Yeah. No, not
or
yet.
delusions. I'll put delusions in there because in business you see that a lot.
Yeah. Well, we were just getting ready because I wanted to get some new lighting because I want to get some of those like Godex. Although there's a company in Calgary that Brian Coleman told me about, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Strobe Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and they do their version of Godex. Basically, it's a Godex lights,
Godox.
but they have the Strobe Pro name on them.
Right.
And they do the 80-200s. They do those the 600s. So
Yeah.
I was looking at getting a couple of those maybe this year, and even upgrading to Canon's new mirrorless that's coming out soon, because I
Yeah.
got the new R5 and R6s, but I might have to hold off on those now for a little bit until we
Well, I
can.
think lighting is more important if you already got a
Yeah,
camera system,
yeah, my
right?
camera seems to be fine. I'm old, like I never go with the newest models. I mean, I'm still like what you're looking through right now is a Canon 6D, the first edition,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
which is like a 20 megapixel. And I'm blowing them up to 30 by 40s or whatever, no problem. The customer doesn't care what you're using as long as you get the final product that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And my backup is a 7D, which is an
Yeah.
18 megapixel crop sensor. But they do the job, and
Yeah.
that's all I care. I don't need the newest car out on the market. I just need something that's going to do the job. It's easy to use.
You don't suffer from technitis.
No, I love the new technology, and there's lots of stuff I love to get, but
Yeah. You'll get there when you get there.
exactly.
Yeah.
I use my Einsteins and Alien B still.
Yeah.
I used to have two old Opus ones that just conked out on me finally. So I'm
Yeah.
back down to 4 lights right now and my speed lights, but it does
Yeah.
the job. So
Well, the Godox system, I absolutely love it. I have a AD600 and two AD200s,
yep,
and
that's
I would
exactly
love.
what I want.
I want to get another AD600. So if you know how you had your lighting, flat lighting, that's the kind of lighting I like to use on large families. I don't want to try and sculpt anybody, but if I have to go high speed sync and I'm using the system I already have, and if I only have one AD600, it's pushing it a little hard. It can do it.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to just have that system singing and floating and creating
Well,
stunning.
I do that for my hockey when I'm doing on the ice, when I'm doing team pictures on the ice.
2 lights.
I have 2 lights with umbrellas, just like 45 or 42, whatever they are, inch umbrellas. I have my Einstein 640s, which are basically the same wattage as your 8600s.
Right.
They're 600 watt seconds or whatever, 640.
They're not 600 watt seconds. They're closer to 300.
Okay, well these ones are
called,
640
it's called the
watt
AD
seconds.
AD600 BM, which means manual.
Yeah, so I have I have 2 Einstein 640s, which are 640 watt seconds.
Yeah.
And they're both on umbrellas, and they're just shooting in nice flat lighting on the evenly light the whole team.
Yeah.
And then on both corners coming back, I have kickers coming, and they're usually either my other my other 640 Einstein, and I have an Alien B800, which is only half the power, but I don't need as much because they just have the little 7-inch reflectors on them, kicking back as kicker lights, basically.
Kicker. Yeah, pullbacks. Yeah, pullbacks. Maybe we can have a lighting webinar in a couple of weeks from now. We can show that stuff.
Yeah, and I probably have some behind the scenes of them. I'll have to look them out, but I do have them somewhere.
Well, I'll get back to you on that. I would love to.
Definitely. I do a lot of sports here. I do soccer and hockey here. So
I want to show you something.
And actually, just before this, I was on a webinar from noon till 2 with a company called Next Gen Photo Solutions, because I'm looking at using them for my sports.
Nice.
Where we shoot them basically on white backdrop, and then they just compile everything together for me.
Do you see a family?
I do, with the red couch and
the
red couch.
That's Nathan and Angela. They have 3 kids now.
I'm just looking around my camera here.
I photographed the birth of their 3rd child, actually.
Okay, yeah, I remember doing those sessions.
I posted this about 2 months ago, and I got a lady from North Bay. She's like an hour and 20 minutes away. That I also shot her wedding. She got all excited and said, "Is that Bridal Veil Falls?" Bridal Veil Falls is a real spectacular area in our area, and I said, "It happens to be, that couch. You got to hike down this trail to get there." And she said, "Well, I want to do my family there, blah, blah, blah." So, because her parents have a cottage on Manitoulin. And so we organized it. The only problem is because of COVID, the access to the falls is closed right now.
Yeah. Well, ours is open now. We have a nice place here that you might like.
Well, what I want to do, and this is largely my wife's idea, we're going to set up a shoot, and then we're going to turn it into an event. So family shoot by Bridal Veil Falls with I don't know if I'll be able to bring that cool red couch. I might not be able to bring it because I don't have the same vehicle. It used to fit in my Nitsan X Trail, but I don't have.
I love that couch. I remember when you first got it, you took a picture driving home in the middle of the road in the middle of the winter, and you were naked, I think, or something.
I was naked, but anyway. 30 below zero. But anyways, my point is this, we're going to turn it into an event. So one shoot's hopefully going to turn into several. And with that heavy theme, which is Bridal Veil Falls, and with or without the couch, but we'll be there. There's the same couch. This is at a different set of falls. This is at Lake Lozo. So they're very unusual and not for everybody, but we're going to be creating an event based on those.
Maybe depending how long you're here, when you come, maybe we'll get you to do my family portrait.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we have a nice falls area here too.
Do you have a cool
and we have
red?
This too. We can always bring this. I don't know if this works for you or not. See if you can see this. We have that little chair.
Let me see. Hold on here. I'm going to stop share. Oh yeah, there we go. That's a cool red chair.
I don't want to turn the focus because it was focused on me. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's like your couch. But I got that for $40 at a garage sale.
Nice.
But I want a couch like yours. Now I got to try and get this back to where it was. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
It's got to be close. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit too because it's... All right. I got to go up a bit. You can keep going if you want while I fix this.
I'm just trying to find some scenic shots I did at Bridal Veil. I want to just show you guys how spectacular it is there. Absolutely stunning. I did some scenics back in 2017 when I was there photographing a wedding. We stayed overnight, and on Sunday I drove around and did some scenery. It's absolutely spectacular.
All right. And like I was saying, while you're looking for that, I had that flat lighting I was telling you, like we do with the sports, we have the collages there. I have
Nice.
the numbers and that. But then that's just like with that flat lighting. It's hard to see because if I go much closer, it's not focused, of course.
No, it's nice.
That's the 4 lights. And it's so much nicer on the ice. It just adds to it. And then, like I said, when we do an actual webinar on this, then we can, and that's the team picture itself.
Yeah.
So
I would love to. Absolutely love to. This is the lady who contacted me. I did her wedding, and last year I did these headshots for her and family shots, and she wants another family shot with more headshots at Bridal Veil Falls. Once she saw that post, it's amazing what you can. Sometimes the attention and ideas that come from posting. You could see on my Facebook page here, right? See me scrolling?
Yep, I see all your thumbnails there.
There's me and my dad having a smoke. See, he's got a cigarette in his hand.
You're the baby, right?
Yeah, I am. Oh man. So I post 3 across all, like 3 posts, morning, afternoon, and late afternoon.
I know. I get them all. I get them through, what is it? LinkedIn, I think it is. And
yeah, I post everywhere. Instagram, Facebook personal.
It works because I see them.
And to me, doing this is like going to the mall when I used to, back in the late 90s and sometime in the 2000s, we used to exhibit, put on displays. And our first big display, Danielle, my baby, was only like a year old, and Tina and I were newlyweds, and she quit her job as an accountant. And we went to the local shopping center. Now, this is one of the busiest shopping malls in Canada. And we put a display for 2-3 weeks. So to me, doing this kind of thing on social media is like doing little mini hits of a display at the mall. People see you, they're just reminded of you over and over and over again. And I want to dominate them via social media constantly. I want to be in the forefront of their minds using what I believe in many ways is the same concept between like going to a mall and putting on a display. Oh, it's in there somewhere, it's going back to 2017. So it's going to be a while, but anyways, it's quite a spectacular location, and we're going to be doing I'm going to forget about that. I want to show
See,
you
another
something.
good way for me right now to market myself. My wife and I are actually just starting to try and figure out how we want to utilize it. Is the local radio station here, My FM,
Right.
104.9 My FM. I got in really good with them because on the side, I do volunteer work for Your TV, Kojiko here, where I'm a cameraman for them, even though I'm not a video guy, but
Right.
I learned it. I'm volunteer and I actually do my own show. Of course, you know that John and Dave TV with them,
Yeah.
but what we do is I'm actually the main camera guy when the Pembroke Lumber Kings junior team plays. I'm the guy up in the rafters there doing the main camera, and right beside me is the play-by-play guy and the
On radio.
well, he actually, this is when we do the TV because I'm doing the camera, and then beside me he's actually doing the play-by-play for us on TV, and beside him is his color commentator who happens to be one of the guys from My FM. So I got really good with him, and then he recommended me to his boss, the director at your My FM, for when they needed their morning show. It was Jamie and Laura on the morning show. They needed headshots for their website to promote the two of them. So she contacted me, and I got in really well with them. Not only do I do their headshots, but we worked a deal out with them. Instead of monetary, basically I told them what it would cost for me to do the shoot that they wanted. And they're like, okay, can we do that as a trade for advertising on the radio? And I said, sure, why not? So I did that. We got really good from there. And then they did their first award show this year where they were people can write in their favorite businesses in certain categories. And when they were doing the finals, it was at the Legion, and they set up a nice little backdrop. And I set up one of my lights, I think it was. And it was like a red carpet type thing. And I just did the red carpet, and they said, how about if we paid you for the 2 or 3 hours that you're going to be there, we'll pay you this much. I'm like, okay, let's do that. And then instead of monetary, again, it went to a trade. This way, nobody's has money going back and forth. And that worked out well. I just shot it, put them on a gallery, a pixie set gallery where people can go find their picture and just download and do whatever they want with them.
Nice.
And now I have about $1,500 worth of advertising with My FM right now. So now we just have to figure out how to use it, but it didn't cost me a cent. It just cost me a couple hours of my time on 2 different days. It cost me an hour headshot session with.
Can I say a couple things about that?
Sure.
When you're working with big media, very expensive, this is how you want to do it.
Exactly.
I've done this with our local newspaper. We don't anymore, but we used to always do trade every year, thousands of dollars. That's the way to do it. Now, we're talking radio. If you're looking for some ideas I personally think the worst place to go for what to do for your marketing content is the actual place that is selling you the media. So you go to a radio station, they don't know how to promote a photography studio. They're going to come up with some real stupid stuff. I
told them I'll go on the air and I'll do the actual voiceover myself.
But if you want to study it, go to Wizard of Ads. So Roy Williams, he's a radio guy. He's the guru in the world for radio ads.
Yep.
If you talk to anybody, typically, especially if they're in a larger city, who's a sales rep for radio ads, they'll know who Roy Williams is.
Okay.
And go look at some ideas and some of the ads that they put together. And they're always talking about how to do effective marketing. He's a really good, smart, really, really smart guy as far as how to grow a business. And obviously he's very biased towards radio. And according to him, it works really, really well, but you got to do it a certain way. So
see, we have a country station here too, but they're a lot more expensive on stuff, I find, because even with them, I even was going to use them this year because I was going to do another customer appreciation day until this COVID happened. Now it's hard to do it because I usually have J's climbing adventures come. They have like the bouncy castles and things, and we put that in the parking lot for the kids. We had a balloon animal person when we did our grand opening. We had, and then what they'll do is for about I think it's about $150 an hour. You can get the radio station to come and do live feeds every 10 minutes from your thing.
That's
so I was going to do something like that and use some of my advertising dollars with them for one of my things. But now I don't know when I'm going to be doing it. I was even thinking of doing it when we do your fairy day thing, but I thought, well, there's no use doing it when they're here because it's not like we're trying to bring people in because at that day we've already got them signed up. We're not getting people coming in out from the street.
Yep.
But that would have been kind of cool. But when I do a main event where we want to bring people in here, if we're doing a customer appreciation day or a silent auction, we want to get people in the studio to come see it. I can use some of that for that. And they can on the air, hey, we're over at John A. Butler Photography Studio here on 1330 Pembroke Street. Come on down. He's got this going on. He's got that. Make sure you bring the kids.
Yeah.
So we can use it for something like that. Maybe use $300 and get them here for 2 hours. And over the 2 hours, it will bring
very
people in on
powerful.
Saturday.
Very powerful to get people to
So
show
that's
up.
one thing. The other is just make a commercial. The problem with radio, it's one of those things where you can't just do it for a couple weeks or a month and then give it up. It doesn't get in people's heads. It's something that you got to do at least a couple times a day, every day
for a year,
4, 5, 6 months, a year in order to make it work.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to build it up and then use it in certain ways that I want to use it for. So
yeah.
Still working on it.
Well, I definitely would have a look at Roy Williams, sign up for his weekly Monday morning memo, and look at the archives on their website and look for some radio ad ideas.
Exactly.
Trust me, this guy is off the charts good. So
I'm hoping to build it up even more because the one girl from the morning show, she's her husband's military and they just got posted to Netherlands. And so they're leaving soon. So she's leaving the show and he'll be doing it alone until they find a replacement. So I said, hey, when you get your replacement, send them over. We got to do more pictures for them now. So I'm going to try and build it up even more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, between those two things I did for them, one was an hour headshot with the two of them. And the one guy's wife is also a DJ for them. So we did hers too. So for the 3 people, they ended up getting 5 images edited and sent to them. Plus the 3 hours or so I was at that award show, just shooting red carpet stuff and just downloading them on a gallery, no touch-ups or anything. And just said, here, take them. I already got $1,500 from them already. So just for those 2 things, it was like 3 hours work, 4 hours work.
That's pretty good.
So if I can build it up more.
Yeah. Smart thinking there, John. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's the kind of strategies with big media. Makes you look
if your
really
fairy
good.
portrait takes off here, we can maybe try and make that into a yearly thing. And I'm in talks with 1 or 2 of my videographer friends here, trying to see if they'll even come for an hour or 2 during that and do some behind the scenes for us.
Yeah.
And then he'll compile a big video for it. So the next time, if you come down and do it again, we'll have this behind the scenes video of the last time you did it here. And we can throw that out as advertising.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'm in. And you'd have to get permission if you get pictures.
Oh, definitely.
From
definitely.
the
I'll make sure everybody that comes to this, when they come, we'll get them to sign. If you bring any model releases or things like that, make sure you. I have them here.
When I do Facebook posts of me during Fairy Day, I often get with the fairy girl, or if there's 3 sisters, I think those are particularly worthy. I'll get excited. I'll say, Mom, do you mind if I get a selfie with your daughters in their fairy outfits? And I post it on Facebook. Yeah. That's the only permission I ask for. But if there was something similar, if we did a video, I would probably say, do you mind?
I know a lot of people here. So whoever comes, I'll make sure I ask them.
There'll be somebody and they say, hey, Janine, do you mind? And then if we're going to shoot a video at that level, probably get them to sign a model release.
I told my wife I should pull a Rob and I'll dress up in the tutu and the wings and I'll let you take a picture of me too. Just
you
like
remember that. Okay, I'm going to wind this down soon. Can I touch on a few things first?
You sure can.
I just want to go really quickly on somebody emailed me last week. A member emailed me about fairy pictures. I've talked about ice fairy pictures specifically is what she emailed me about. And she said she bought one of these rings from, I can't remember where, maybe it's not the same kind of a ring. And I talked about these in the previous mastermind. So if you remember, so I just want to touch on it really, really quick. Just to remind people, when you do these things, to me, the number one issue, stop sharing. It's
not sharing now.
Yeah, it stopped sharing. I got to fix this. The number one issue to me is safety.
Definitely.
Can you see these thumbnails?
Yep, I see them.
All right, so there's the actual ring I bought, and there it is close up at my buddy who's a mechanic at his place, and he reinforced it. You could see how he reinforced it with wood.
Yep.
And he drilled holes through the steel, so it's super, super reinforced. And there it is with my wife decorating it. And he actually threw a bit of paint on it just to make the black not so black. When he brought it to the studio, I slapped another coat of paint on it, so it's pure white. I don't have any samples to show anybody here, but the ice fairies.
But I remember, if they go to the ad that you made yesterday and you click on the video, it shows some of your ice fairy portraits on there.
Yeah.
With the icicle type things hanging down from it and stuff.
So more of the same insofar as theme pictures are concerned with kids and children. The parents love it. The grandparents love it. And I'm expanding on the idea of doing fairies, but this time with ice fairies. So
yeah.
I just want to show you something really quick.
Especially with Frozen 2 coming out last year, that's a good time for it.
See my sign?
Yep, I can see it now. Yep.
That's my new billboard. I just put that up 4 weeks ago.
Very cool.
The last billboard I had was really nice, but I thought it's getting tired. So I whipped this up, you know, and I asked the mom for permission to use her little girl. And I whipped up a concept, and I ran it by my daughter, who's now a graphic designer, and she's quite good. And she it's nice to have a graphic designer in the family.
Exactly.
So she helped me fix this up. So that's what our billboard looks like. Now this sign here was a sign I had, and I put the website on there, but it got blown off because of we had a big storm this winter, and half of it got blown away. So we ordered a new one from the guy and ordered it back in May. And I was like, I can't spend any money. And he said, okay, well, just pay me in September or whatever. To me, I'll let it load. The broken sign, to me, is really, really bad. Anything like that, broken windows, cracked paint, anything that looks visually unsettling of that nature to do with any business. You know, I think the closest corollary I can come to is bathrooms in restaurants. If your bathroom is dirty, you're making a big mistake.
Yeah.
And it's been said one of the big reasons McDonald's is so successful is because they have a regiment and a system for keeping very, very clean bathrooms. And I remember first time I heard that, I was like, yep, they're clean. And then I go to Burger King. Nope, they're dirty. So anyways, that's not loading on me because this, for whatever reason here. So
no, well, it's like my studio, like we're right, there's a big field behind us. So we get a lot of spiders and stuff in the front there. And my whole front area, it could be covered in cobwebs. I'll wipe it all down, and then a day or two later, it's all cobwebs again. So actually one of my ex-BNI members, who's actually a friend of mine, I let him actually have his mail delivered to my unit. And he just picks up his mail whenever. I just keep it in the mailbox, and I send him a message, hey, you got more mail? So I called him up and said, hey, do you got any ideas of how to keep spiders away? He goes, I got you covered. So he came by yesterday, and he actually sprayed all around the front of my unit. And he says, wait till tomorrow and then wipe all those webs that way. And when I went to wipe it away today, there's all these dead spiders hanging off these webs, big, small, whatever. So we got rid of everything. And now my unit will look great while everybody else will have all these spiders. So
let me talk real quick about pop-up weddings. You know, all our weddings got canceled and postponed. A big exciting area for us has been the pop-up weddings. They too got postponed, but I think the pop-up weddings are going to come back with a flurry as soon as we're allowed to rent out the halls, which we can't. So we're just chomping at the bit, waiting inside the gates right now in order to make that happen. So that's I just wanted to mention that. You could see the pink.
Yeah, I can see the logo there. Yeah. No, I thought when you first came out with that about a couple of years ago, I thought that was the great idea. Because nowadays I'm finding a lot of people, they don't want these big, expensive weddings. They don't want, they just want to go and get married. So I think it's a great, and then having your wife go and get her officiancy license and be able to do the officiant. You guys just run as a small business. I think it's a great idea. Oh,
it's been pretty exciting and pretty cool. So my wife also does not makeup. She does jewelry. Those are some of her pieces. I just want to close this off by talking about copywriting. My wife does really nice jewelry. And case in point, last January when we go to Costa Rica for 3 months, right?
Yep.
And they have a Thursday night market there with thousands of tourists and locals coming out and buying stuff. And it's just like you get a table for $20. And I told my wife, I said, we should sell your stuff. And she didn't want to, and I convinced her to do it because there's a lot of other people that are selling jewelry. Anyways, as soon as the guy who runs that event saw our display, he looked at Tina, he said, your stuff's going to sell. It's way better than anything else here. And it did. So we had like 5 displays 5 weeks in a row before we got shut down and we had to come back home. But we were making money, like money. We were selling her jewelry. It was flying off the shelf. So I said, well, now you know there's a market for it. And that's the way I like to build the business up. So who knows where we're going to go. But I said to her, I said, you got a lot of pieces here. She's probably got about 70 plus pieces. And she's always creating new ones. I said, if you send me a piece, I will create a description for a blog post to do. So she'll send me a piece. I'll think about it. The next day, I'll create some copywriting. Now, this is kind of bizarre, but I'm just going to show you like, I love copywriting, you know. Let me show you this. One thing I did while we were in lockdown back in April is I went through all my last 10 years of emails. And I had over 1,000 pages.
Oh, jeez.
And so all my, like this, I narrowed it down. This is not 1,000 pages. This is 580 pages. My point being, I like copywriting. So I like writing stuff out. So I said to her, I said, let's do this. And I'm going to use the J. Peterman. Now, if you've never heard of J. Peterman.
I've heard of J. Peterman. I watched Seinfeld.
Oh, I heard of that. I never watched Seinfeld, but I heard of it. Somebody told me that once. Yep. Jay Peterman is famous in the copywriting and marketing world for how they built their catalog up, and they use descriptions. Now, if you go to Jay Peterman and go look at any of their products, I think it's absolutely genius what they do, and they're just using copywriting techniques. And I'm copying that style, so you see here, Isles of Muses, Hydra, Greece, square stone buildings from quay to the hilltop, Asian blue water. She meets me at the boat. So they get into these mini stories and descriptions. And that's exactly what I've been doing.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that. I usually put what I want said on a paper. I give it to my wife, and then she's able to word it better than I am. So.
Well, most people feel the same way. But John, you're a very passionate and very verbose individual. So I totally disagree with you. And I want you to think about this in the sense that how would you normally talk if you were across from the kitchen table to a typical client? If you're excited, how would you describe that's copywriting?
Okay.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm. People think it's something else that's academic.
Exactly. I have in my head what I want to get across. Just putting it on paper is my hard part. So
yeah. So, but if you have an idea, if you have it's just something to think about. So this necklace, which went out yesterday.
Let's hear your J. Peterman of this.
No, hold on. This one here. Okay. I'm going to give you my J. Peterman description.
All right.
I love your necklace. This in quotation marks. Durable and strong like you, copper tinged with hints of blue sky and luminescent pearl is a statement that lends itself to just about any setting. Beach, nightclub, or fancy social gathering. Try it. You'll see how it turns heads and grabs attention in subtle ways, often unnoticed until you look for it. Some will hide their admiration. Others will come right out and say things like, I love your necklace. Now, John, that came to me in a minute.
Yeah.
So I guess I got a bit of a knack for it, but I've studied
total
this.
J. Peterman.
I studied this stuff for years and years and years. It's just something to think about. So as I started doing that for her jewelry, I started applying it to photography.
Ooh.
Which is, like, so look at this guy here.
Describe your canvas or something.
Like, well, this was this morning. I just wrote your wolf pack, best buds since forever. They've got your back.
That's cool.
It's simple, right?
It's very simple, but it gets the message across.
Yeah, I'll just show you one more because I'm kind of thinking this is cool. Anybody who thinks they're not able to do copywriting, it's really not. You just got to talk the way you think or write the way you talk normally.
Oh no, that'd get me in trouble.
Well, that's where your wife is there to help you out.
Exactly.
Okay, here, this was an earlier one today. You've known them all or most of your life, friends, family, and those who know your deepest thoughts, dreams, and hopes. So a little more of a feminine versus a masculine. You understand what I'm saying? So, all right, we've been going a long time. John, I really appreciate you doing this with me. It's been amazing.
I hope, as long as I wasn't boring for everybody.
No, I like your style. I like what you got to say and what you got to share. You're very passionate and you're very eager and willing, and you've got 1,000,001 marketing ideas. So,
Well, I always tell everybody the day that I think I know everything and that I'm perfect, then I might as well quit and start something else because,
Yeah.
which will never happen because nobody's ever perfect or knows everything. I'm learning something new every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
I will say I didn't get this far without you and James because, like I said,
Oh,
13
cool.
years ago, I found No BS Photo Success.
Yeah.
And, uh, and at that time, I was like one of those struggling guys going, okay, what
Oh,
am I going to do? I was working at a fiberboard plant here, trying to do this on the side till they laid us off. 2008, I think it was.
that's when
And
you hit the
they laid
ground.
me off. And because they closed down at the time, they're now open again. And so we told the government, okay, we're going on EI. I've never done it in my life, but I'm in my 30s. I'm laid off. I'm going on EI. And I was on for about 6 to 8 months and we built up the business more. And come July of what, '09, I told the government, that's it, we're going full time. And last summer we did our grand opening slash customer appreciation day because it was 10 years as a full-time business here in the Valley. So
Nice.
it
Nice.
shows that photography is not dead. We can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I like about your model, and you and I have a lot in common in that sense, is you're into different markets, not just one.
Yep. I
If
try and
you,
stay in the portrait part though, because to me, like I do have some clients now that want me to shoot their products. One of the beer companies here, the craft beer, I shot one of his bottles, but now, or his cans, but now he's going to do that himself with his little tent with his cell phone.
Mhm.
He wants me to do the people around the campfire with his beer type of thing. He wants
Right.
those stuff from me.
You're not going to
Um,
say no to them, right?
no, exactly. And then I have another one that does the backpacks for or rucksacks they call them for the military, and they do all this other stuff. He wants me to do product shots for them, so I don't mind doing that. I'm not going to say no, but mostly I'm a people person. I want to do portraits, and so
Yeah.
other than
Mhm.
weddings, which I got out of, I don't do the newborns anymore. I pass them on to other people. And I
Yeah.
don't do boudoir right now. I do pinups, the sort of Mike Long pinups. Not
Yeah.
as good as him, of course, but
Yeah.
that's as far as other than that, I like doing my portraits. I like doing
Well,
family portraits.
you got a lot of variety in markets going on. This is what I'm talking
Exactly.
about. Versus, say, the person who's only a wedding photographer, or the person who's only a senior photographer,
Exactly.
or the
I like to
new.
say I'm a people photographer.
There, so you've got, and again, this is a Dan Kennedy thing. He said, never, never one, never one, never have one. Don't never depend on one thing,
Yep.
because diversification is the key, and that's what I've often called the Swiss Army knife of studios. And in many ways, that's what you got going on. That's
Yep.
what I like.
So.
See, my Swiss Army knife. Bing. All right, thanks, John. Thank you very much. I
No,
appreciate it. We'll head out. And,
thank you.
I would like to, if you don't mind, if you can send me a copy, if you have a file of that little girl with the pink grad.
Oh, definitely.
If you could do that, if you can mess whenever you got time. There's no rush.
No, I'll get it to you.
Next couple of days, I want to really show my wife that, and I think I don't know why I've never thought of that.
We do 3 poses with the girls. We do them
It's too
just with their
cute.
gowns sitting nicely. Then we do the flowers, and then I do the scroll in front of the flowers, which is basically just a 8.5 by 11 piece of photo paper rolled up with a little stretch loop on it.
Yep.
And they hold it in front, and then I say, okay, stay there. We put the hat on, and we do the same pictures backwards. I shoot it, scroll away, do the flower. We always do the hat last, even with the boys, because their hair's all nice and beautiful. You don't want to put the hat on and then
Yep.
pull it off. Now they got to comb their hair again.
So they
get
get
their hair without the hat first.
6 shots.
6 shots we usually do. And I actually had one say, can I get the scroll without the flowers? I'm like, sure. So we did that too. She gave me more. And with the boys, we do just without anything, just the cap or just the gown. Then we get them to hold the scroll with 2 hands like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get them to hold them with 1 hand like this. And then I do the same shots backwards with the hat on again. And
Awesome.
that's it. Just easy peasy. They're out the door in 5-10 minutes.
Totally
And they
cool.
usually get anywhere between 1 and 3 proofs per pose to look at. And they order from that.
Good.
Well,
Well,
and they're told that there's no touch-ups done to them either. Those
Yeah.
are done afterwards. So
Awesome. So
easy. I'll walk you through it.
I'd appreciate it. All right. Well, take care. I'm out of here, guys. We'll
right.
talk soon, and appreciate all your time and all. John,
Not
we'll
a
be
problem.
talking
Thanks
soon.
for having me.
All right. Bye-bye now.